Now, many thanks for making time to be with us on this 9th day of October 2023. Now, this is a trending news where we bring you stories making headlines across the 47 counties of the Republic of Kenya. Remember, you can watch this bulletin live on our Facebook and YouTube pages at Lookuptv. Now, we begin this bulletin with the privatization bill, and President William Ruto has signed the Privatization Bill 2023 into law. This repeals the Privatization Act of 2005, which was enacted before the current constitution. The bill removes the bureaucracy in the privatization of non-strategic or loss-making government entities. Now, the ceremony, which took place on Monday at State House in Kisumu, was witnessed by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula. Now, moving forward, the International Commission of Jurists has come out to oppose the death penalty during an event in Nairobi ahead of the commemoration of the 21st World Day Against Death Penalty. The ICJ argues that the death penalty is a violation of the right to life.
Securing the right to productive.
Now, in regards to the abolition of death penalty, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights has been in this debate since inception. And in 2007, we published a position paper where we were urging the government of Kenya to abolish the death penalty. And our argument was based on the fact that the death penalty was unconstitutional then. That was actually before we got the 2010 constitution. So, and therefore the government needed, because the government is the one that promotes rule of law, therefore it needed to act constitutionally and abolish the death penalty. Unfortunately, since then, abolition has never taken place. We've had a lot of commutations, including the latest commutations that were done by the President, Honorable William Ruto. I think last month of around 634, but the abolition is yet to take place.
So December 2022, our own statistics that we received from prison, and perhaps because of the commutation, were that there were 22 women serving the death sentence, of which 2 had been convicted of robbery with violence, and the other 20 were for murder. So perhaps then we can compare notes in terms of statistics, because one of the areas we need to work together as civil society is what are the figures and the statistics that are that are in our prisons at the moment. The 99 versus 2 for us then raises the question: what the 2 women, what are they convicted of? And for us at ICJ, we began a campaign to focus on the gendered perspective of the death penalty.
Reaction of
Now, several leaders across the country have expressed their support against the Supreme Court ruling on LGBTQ, calling on the church to stand together and ensure the moral values are not eroded. Now, this comes after hundreds of believers and conservative Christians took to the streets outside the Supreme Court to protest its decision to uphold the LGBTQ community's right of association, saying that the verdict supports immorality. The Supreme Court last month reaffirmed an earlier ruling that the non-governmental organization board in Kenya had discriminated against LGBTQ people when it refused to register the association.
Na mimi kama kiongozi ningependa kuunga mkono msimamo wa kanisa. Mambo ya ushoga hapa Kenya hatutaki. Najua koti juzi ilisema inahalalisha mambo ya ushoga, lakini sisi kama viongozi wa kiserikali na viongozi wa kanisa tunapinga legalization of homosexuality, mambo ya lesbianism, mambo ya LGBTQ. We condemn issue of legalization of LGBTQ kwa sababu it goes against the teaching of the Bible. Sisi tunajua msimamo wa kanisa, and we cannot go against the teaching of the church na pia viongozi ambao wanapenda Mungu. Ukiangalia kule Marekani, they have legalized homosexuality because they have their own issues. Lakini hapa I want to support in a strong way rais wetu ambaye pia anapenda kanisa. Mambo ya LGBTQ, we don't want that in Kenya. Sisi ni watu ambao tunamcha Mungu, and we want to preach issues around good living na sio mambo ya ushoga.
Now, Roots Party leader George Wajakoya has slammed some leaders in the Kenya Kwanza administration for not fulfilling their promises of dealing with the issue of youth unemployment in the country. Wajakoya, who was speaking in Nanyuki, Laikipia County, has however urged all leaders to come together and unite the country.
It has come to the realization of the Republic that there are some people who are agitating for the mountain's isolation, zoning the mountain, which is part of this country, and wanting the mountain to speak on itself is actually very primitive and backward, just the same way Mheshimiwa RUTO said. We cannot be taken back to start now being ethnicized, where someone comes in and says that Kikuyus will vote in one basket. A kind of sheer nonsense is why I'm here to condemn. Kenya is one nation, and I'm here to preach unity so that everybody in Kenya, unless the constitution says otherwise, everyone in Kenya has a leave to remain in this country as per our constitution. But if you maelezo ambayo wanaambiwa na watu kama Gachagua kwamba kuna kazi, nyumba zinajengwa, vijana watoke university waende wabebe mawe, waende wajenge hizo nyumba. Ndio ujenzi sio namna, lakini imagine mtu amefanya degree ama shahada ya udaktari, shahada ya sheria, hamna kazi, anaambiwa aenda kwa mjengo ubebe ni. Mimi ningetaka nione watoto wa Gachagua na RUTO wawe kwa mstari wa mbele, wamalize vyuo vikuu ama wale waliomaliza waende ujenzi tu waangalie.
Residents of Kathiani and Matunguli constituencies in Machakos County have expressed their frustration over an unfinished bridge connecting Kathiani Market and Kakuyuni, describing it as a potential danger. The bridge, which has been under construction for more than 6 months, has been rendered impassable due to its state, posing risks to hundreds of individuals who rely on it to access Kathiani town and Kakuyuni in Kangundo constituency for essential services.
Tuwanga tunapeleka Chandu, ile shule zingine siko Kakuyuni, tunapeleka watoto huko wa shule na tunaendelea tuna kupata taabu. Sababu tukikuja hapa mtoto anakuja anachelewa kwa sababu daraja haijafunguliwa na imekaa. Kwa hivyo tungeomba tu ifunguliwe.
Tangu afunge hii bridge hatujakuwa tukipata customers vile inastahili. Tuko na watoto tunasomesha, kuna mijengo inaendelea. Wakati watu wanakimbizana na wakati wa mvua karibu inyeshe, na tunaona government ya Machakos imekawia sana kufanya ile inawezekana. Kwa maana sasa kama ukileta pick up hapa siku moja inaharibika, ile faida yote unapata yote unaenda unanunua spare parts, kesho yake uamuki kazi mpaka itengenezwe, ukirudi tena inaharibika tena.
Sababu imekuwa ngumu kwa kupitishia vitu za biashara. Hata ukiwa umebeba mama mzito inabidi kwanza umshukishe na ana uwezo wa kupanda juu barabara hakuna. Hii ukiangalia hapa hakuna barabara. Hii ni mto tunapitia hapa. Mamba pikipiki zetu zinaharibikia hapa, magari za watu zinaharibikia hapa. Hata wengine wako na magari, mtu inabidi aache nyumbani aanze kutafuta nini? Aanze kutafuta zingine za transport. Which is making inconveniences kwa wanabiashara na wakazi wa huko. Tunapata ungumu mwingi wa usafiri kwa less than let's say 40 meters. So tunaomba serikali ya Kenya itusaidie kwa sababu juu bridge ishaisha.
Now, the 31st edition of the Maralal International Camel Derby in Samburu County brought together communities drawn from Samburu, Machakos and Kajiado counties, demonstrating their talents, tradition and culture. According to the community, the celebration is a reflection of their deep-rooted connection with the nature and determination to preserve their traditions.
Na mimi nimesimama kati ya kina mama. Ukienda kwa jikoni ya mama, iko mawe ngapi? Iko mawe ngapi? Ukitoa moja, sufuria itafanya nini? Sufuria itafanya nini? Basi umoja wenu, vile mmeshikilia lenku, lati, mtutu, hiyo ni ile mawe tatu hapo kwa boma. Musijaribu kutoa hata moja. Tumeelewana kabisa, kwa sababu mumesimama na mnatuonyesha barabara nzuri, na msikubali watu wenye kijicho wajaribu kuharibu umoja wa watu wa Maa. Mkisimama vile mmesimama, tutaona maajabu. Na ukiona katika zile county za taifa letu, ukienda Narok County, jamii zote za kitaifa letu zinaishi huko. Ukikuja hapa Samburu, tumeona jamii zote za Kenya ziko hapa, zinaishi kwa amani. Ukienda Kajiado, pia ni vile vile. Kwa hivyo nyinyi mmeonyesha kwamba hamuna ukabila, hamuna ubaguzi. Kazi yenu ni kuhakikisha kwamba mnaleta Wakenya pamoja.
Now, the spouse, beg your pardon, to the Deputy President, that is Pastor Dorcas Rigathi, now says local brewers are fighting hard to undermine the fight against drug and substance abuse in the Mount Kenya region. Speaking in Kabi Ruini in Nyeri County, the second lady said she is clearly aware of the local illicit breweries that are fighting for dominance, and added that she'll work restlessly to see those companies brought down.
They are not happy and they are fighting, but this family, you cannot fight it. I can tell you, I'm standing on the altar. You will not be able to succeed against us, because the work we are doing is the work of God, and it will be done. We are going to save the boy child, and we are going to save our country. And that is why we are here. And those who keep talking about this wonderful husband of mine, he's a good husband. And he's a good leader. And he's going to lead. We are on our knees. Yes, they said he will not get there. He's there by the grace of God. And with the power of God, he will remain there. And we are going to pray for him. Because you like hearing, that is what, it is a message coming from his wife.
Now onto the fields of play, and the first batch of the Kenya national men's football team, that is the Harambee Stars, has left the country for Istanbul, Turkey. Stars will face off with Russia national team on October 16th in an international friendly match as part of preparations to kick off their group stage matches for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers campaign. Now, that particular story wraps up our bulletin at this particular hour, but remember, we'll be bringing you more detailed stories, including the signing of that particular privatization bill and what it means to government-owned companies or agencies that are making losses, and many other stories, including the stories coming from the health sector here in the country. Now, until then, remember you can visit our website www.lookuptv.co.ke just to get an overview of the stories making headlines not only here in the country but as well across the borders. Now, until then, do have yourself a lovely evening, and like always, God bless.